Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another build. Today's build is based on the Myrodonian enemy, so I'm gonna quickly go through the gear we've got and then we'll get some fights done and I'll talk about the build a little bit and give it a rating. So first we've got the Iron Myrodonian helm. Reinforced DACA. I wanted the Myrodon DACA, but I couldn't get it in the shop, so if I do get one, I'll upgrade it, but this'll do fine. Mail and plate, right arm, no left arm, iron greaves, right and left, and then we've got the big iron shield. So obviously you notice no chest piece, and that's because Myrodonians typically don't have a chest piece. So that's really what I'm going to be curious to see with this build. Typically that goes against everything I normally preach. I always talk about how the chest piece is the most important piece of armor you can have, and usually I wouldn't even consider going into a fight, especially a high level fight, without one. But then when I was thinking about doing this build, it got me thinking, like, I'm so used to playing with a chest piece that I don't really pay attention so much to my chest getting hit. I don't try to, protect myself or anything because that's what the chest piece is for. So I got to thinking, like, if I've got this big shield protecting my left arm, I've got the arm piece protecting my right arm, my head's protected, both my legs are protected. My chest is then the only thing that's really vulnerable, but can I just play in a certain way that I avoid taking hits to my chest? I don't know. That's what we're gonna have to find out here, because this build could be just fine. It could work well if I'm able to do that, but if I'm not able to do that, that's obviously a pretty big weakness. It would help if I didn't get disarmed, but now I've got my Myrodon DACA, so it's not the worst thing. Too bad this isn't spoils. So far so good, but again, many versus many isn't the toughest test, so we'll get into some harder fights after this. Alright, so I just got hit for 28. That must have been my chest. And that's the thing, like, anytime you've got a spot that's unarmored, doesn't matter how careful you are, like, doesn't really matter what happens, eventually you're gonna take a hit. It's almost impossible to avoid it completely, and when you do, it's gonna be for a lot of damage if you don't have armor at all. So the nice thing about having no chest is that it helps a lot with your stamina regen, because the chest piece obviously is a big piece of armor. They all pretty much have a sizable stamina penalty. Even the ones I like, the bronze and iron cuirass, it's still a -10 to your stamina regen, so not having that at all, it does help. All right, so 1v7, that's a little bit more than I would have liked. I would have liked to go with 1v4 or 5 first, but I guess we're going trial by fire. So I got my Myrodon DACA, so I like that. It's a little bit, it actually does less damage and has less durability than the reinforced DACA, but it is a little bit longer, which I like. Alright, first hit, 48 damage from the iron claw to my body, so that is a horrible start. And a straight sword, not the best for beating big shields like these Myrodon soldiers have, so this could be a tough one. I'm gonna keep circling around these, they're not really walls, but you get what I mean. And just keeping my shield up towards these guys. If I don't take any more hits from Mr. Claw, I might be okay here. But I think there are 3 of them with the claw, so maybe just 2. So these guys with the claws are right here up on me, so that's actually good. I want to kill them before they cause further complications. And if you fought a lot of iron claws, that's kind of one weapon where it can be really hard to tell where it's even going. It can be really hard to block, and that's another problem when you're leaving yourself open anywhere. I talked about, like, trying to play to protect myself, to protect my body. It can just be hard to do that when you don't really know where your enemy's even attacking to. These guys are trying to get behind me. It's annoying. Don't want to let that happen, because I'm not too worried about these other weapons. One guy has a mace. That's pretty easy to block. The other guys have shields. I mean, chakas. So those are dangerous to my shield, but this shield has like 500 plus durability, I think. And other than that first hit, I haven't taken any damage here, so this isn't going too badly. I took 2.2 damage, so I don't know what that hit. Probably my helmet. Another hit, that was probably my head again. So this helmet is giving 95% armor, so they can hit my head as much as they want, really. There we go. That guy's shield broke, which is nice. And they also killed one of their teammates. All right. All right, so that didn't go badly. It's just, you know, when you take that first hit for 48 damage, that's kind of worrying. When you are fighting against a single enemy, it is significantly easier than, you know, in a 1v many to just focus on that enemy's weapon and kind of make sure it doesn't hit you where you don't want to get hit. You know, going without a chest piece like this, going without armor in general, I guess, you know, it can be viable, but I think you need to pick your spots. I'm not sure this is what you want to do all the time. And you know, that's kind of how I've always felt about that. Like, normally I would try to avoid a 1v many until I have armor that I feel good about. You know, I don't want to take on 6 guys without having any armor or shield or anything. You want to be able to, because the thing with a 1v many is that there are just so many weapons flying around, there's so many people trying to get at you. It's hard to keep track of all of that, and inevitably something's gonna hit you despite your best efforts. Whereas here, you know, it's one weapon that I have to focus on. I can go anywhere, you know, there aren't 6 guys chasing me around. It's a lot easier to avoid taking damage. Alright, so this will be the final test. We've got, I think, 4 Hanian levies and a Myrodonian. So it's going to be a lot of spears flying around, and we'll see if I'm able to withstand that with no chest piece. Never mind. Okay, yeah, we got 2 spears. I'm really just worried about these spears because spears come at you so quick, it can be really hard to block them. There we go, 23 damage in the blink of an eye. That hit my arm, which is good. There we go, got his helmet off. When you see an enemy with really good armor, don't be intimidated by that or anything, because like their weapons, if you ever picked up an enemy's weapon, they're usually about to break. The enemies don't— oh, I didn't even realize I dropped my weapon. The enemies don't maintain the durability on their equipment, right? So if you see them with a Myrodonian helmet, just go, you might as well still hit it, because it might be about to break. It might be one shot, you know? So don't ever feel like someone's going to tank all your hits, because they aren't. So far so good. And the thing about this build, like the reason I used this shield instead of another shield that Myrodonians use is, you know, just because this shield can make up for a lot of vulnerability. Not too many things typically get past this shield if you're using it properly. And you know what, even here in a 1v many and the other one I did before, with this shield and my helmet, you know, even the arm piece a little bit, it hasn't been hit too many times, but you are able to protect your chest well enough that you don't really take too many hits. I've taken one big hit now in each fight. One big hit's not going to kill you. 2 or 3, that might do it, but one hit's not the end of the world. Alright, so that didn't go too badly. The Myrodonian brothers. I'm sorry, brothers. I have to kill you all. You see what I mean? Like, these guys use a variety of shields, but if I had used any of those shields, I would probably be dead right now. Those smaller shields ain't worth a damn. Alright, so I lied before. That wasn't the final test. This is the final test because we've got the whole Hanian army pulling up to try to put a stop to me. So let's see how this goes. Oh shit, that's a lot of Bardishas. Now that's a weapon that could really mess me up. 2.9, we're good. He hit my helmet. Ooh, okay, 9.3. Oh, hello. I haven't even seen this guy before. Where'd he come from? You know, this build's pretty similar to the max armor build in the sense that I've got really high quality armor almost everywhere. Well, the shield, I should say, has been kind of making up for that, because the shield is like having that godly left arm, except even better because it can protect my chest too. And that's the thing, like, that max armor build was great, don't get me wrong, that worked really well, but having a shield is, you know, even better than the best armor because it reduces 100% of damage. You know, you don't take damage if they hit your shield, so the shield makes up for a lot. That's why when you're two-handing, you kind of need some of that armor, whereas if you have a shield, you might not need the armor as much. And you see right there why throwing isn't really a great option, because even if you do get a nice— it's hard enough to get a nice throw off, and then even if you do, that only did 11 damage. You know, you're better off just going and hitting the guy. Alright, so that's that for the Myrodonian build, and that actually went a lot better than I expected. Like I said earlier, this isn't my usual MO. I'm a guy who really likes having some chest armor, and I was just kind of waiting the whole time for my chest to get lit up, but it didn't happen. The shield was really effective in making up for the armor that I didn't have, and I'd say overall, if you want to play this build, or just, you know, if you want to forego some armor in general, you're probably safe enough in doing that. But remember remember that 48 damage from the Iron Claw. Things could definitely still go wrong. So in terms of rating, I'd say 8 out of 10 because this did work really well. The big shield is just so good. It's really the thing that makes it work, but you do still have that glaring weakness that's going to be in the back of your head and maybe make you play a little bit safer. And that's that for this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed the build, and if you have any ideas for future builds, leave a comment. I'd love to hear it. As always, thanks for watching, subscribe if you don't want to miss any videos, and I'll see you next time.